Kim Miller asks at Kimmery Kill 666, worst/funniest onstage mishap from the last tour. That is very easy to figure out. That would be the show we did in Paris on this past tour in November. Ramon and I woke up super sick in Paris that day, and it was unfortunate because that day was a really early day. And I know we sound like rock stars complaining. An early day. We had to be off of our tour bus at noon, and the bus had to leave. So we basically had to take all of our belongings and stuff for the show, take it off the bus, take it in the venue, and hang out that day. But that day in particular, we woke up like so sick, and we're throwing up. And anyone that knows or has ever lived on a tour bus knows that two things you can't do on a tour bus. You can't throw up and you can't shit on a tour bus because it doesn't flush that way. You gotta like go for stuff. So when we're like throwing up, we're in the back of the tour bus and we're like looking for garbage bags and trash cans, and it was a disturbing sight, folks. You'd be glad you weren't there. But that carried off the bus into the venue and at noon that day, and we were just so sick we just could not control this sickness we had. We were just constantly vomiting, and the show was sold out. We had a meet and greets that day during sound check, and it was just it was a really rough day to pull through. And I remember playing the show that night and having to run off on stage a couple times and throw up into I had a bucket on the side of the stage, and I told our guys, like, just have that nearby because I'm probably going to need it. And I had to use it a couple times. The audience was so cool, and I told them I was sick after the first couple songs, and I needed their energy to pull through, and they did, and that's what got us through. I had to run off a couple times, and the very last part of the very last song we ended with was Bad Things, and during Ramon's guitar solo, I walked off on stage and was throwing up again, and I just could not make it back to finish. So he turned the microphone toward the audience, and they finished the whole set. So I was on the side of the stage throwing up in a bucket, hearing everyone in Paris sing Bad Things. It was it was an amazing moment. So I'll never forget it. It was such an awful day, but end of the day, it was awesome because the crowd pulled through for us. So I want to thank Paris for that, and that's a good question. I'll never ever forget that day in my life.